Hello and good morning. Actually, yes, it is. It is morning by 8 minutes. Hello, good morning. My name is Damien, the tall, friendly atheist dad, host of the Tall, Friendly Atheist Dad podcast. Wherever you are, whatever time of day it is, whatever you happen to be doing, I hope you are doing well. And welcome to part 5 of Sermons from My Past, Paradigm Shifts of the 20th Century, part 2. Hit the music.
So far from lies and hypocrisy, returns to energy, and silence becomes brave. Don't ask me the reason why. Just stay. I only dream in black and white. Future's nothingness, but I can choose another end. Opening my eyes, and you beginning in my life. Without emptiness to feel, I am sure of myself. No mercy unto the end.
Hello and welcome to My name is Damien, the Tall Friendly Atheist Dad, host of the Tall Friendly Atheist Dad podcast, and welcome to part 5 of Sermons from My Past, Paradigm Shifts of the 20th Century, part 2. So yes, and on the screen is a video from Anton Radzicki, Jakarta road footage, 12th January 2021 night ride. Yes, and I chose Jakarta because, hey, that's where my wife's from. I've been to Jakarta a few times, stayed there quite a bit. I can speak a little bit of Indonesian, enough to hold a conversation, and I'm just amazed because the last time I was there was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and the idea of being able to ride a bike at night in Jakarta is, Jakarta is famous for traffic jams, and so, yeah. Anyway, if you actually do want to watch something, aside from just listening to my voice, then this is the video, and to show your support, let's give this guy a thumbs up. Thank you, Anton. There you go. Thumbs up for you, buddy. So yes, this is a series where I go through sermons from my past. Yes, it's from my fundamentalist church. Now, when I say fundamentalist, they weren't quite, snake handling people like that, but they did believe in evil spirits and in the power of evil spirits to muck around with things in the natural world. So yeah, just what else? They weren't strict young Earth creationists. You could be an old Earth creationist, though they were very anti-evolutionist. And I was actually just trying to think, back in our university campus outreach, we had numerous, I think, like you could almost set your clock to, we had numerous talks, is evolution true? And people from the biology department would actually come along and, it was one of those things where it turned into cheerleading for Jesus. As in, as a good little Christian boy, you were meant to, go along there and support the pastor and, so you can stand up to the evil evolutionists and put them in their place and show them that God's word is the truth. Yes. So this is Paradigm Shifts of the 20th Century. It's a crib of a book called Facts for Faith, Quarter 1 and 2, Year 2000, published by RTB Publishing, a division of Reasons to Believe. So my pastor was very much into the whole Reasons to Believe, Hugh Ross style of apologetics. Now I actually have some time for Hugh Ross, but I just don't have time for bad apologetics. So anyway, so I'm going to start from... So the previous episode in this thing was part 1, which covered points 1 to 2. So there's 10 points on this, and so I'm going to cover points 3 to 4 today. And yeah, so anyway, sit back, relax, and I'm going to turn the sound on this video so you can listen. There you go. Listen to that. And the music is from the band Victim of Illusion. Head on over to Victim of Illusion. Head on over to victimofillusion.bandcamp.com and pick up their album Invisible Light for a very reasonable price. Yes, so we'll clap the hands. 3, 2, 1. Point number 3. Modern science used to assert that the values of the physical constants held no particular significance, nor did any of the different characteristics of the universe. But now, most scientists believe the different characteristics of the universe and of our solar system, including the constants governing the laws of physics, must be exquisitely fine-tuned throughout the entire age of the universe in order for a planet like Earth to ever exist, or to maintain, for any length of time, its capacity to support physical life. Alright, let me discuss that point, and I'm going to start some music once I get back together, because, you know, preparations for the week. Some of my favourite YouTubers actually there. Or YouTubers, content creators. Dismiss preparation week? No. Alright, here we go. This is Invisible Light, and the song you're hearing now is A New Beginning. Yes, you are hearing it. Good. Let me just turn that down so it doesn't overpower the mix. Oh yeah, listen to that. So, the fine-tuning argument. I suppose the question is, how would you demonstrate that that life couldn't exist with different variable constants? Because life as we know it has formed to the physical constraints and the world around us. And I can't help but think of the puddle analogy, where I'm sure you may have heard the puddle analogy or not, which is where, you know, a puddle one day wakes up and becomes sentient and goes, "Oh, I fit perfectly into this hole." So, okay, that's a message from someone. Yeah, the puddle wakes up and goes, "I fit perfectly into this hole. You know, everything was designed just for me. You know, the depth and the size and the hole, you know, the edges, everything was made just so I could exist. Yeah, I fit perfectly into this." But there's a few reasons to, in my opinion, there's a few reasons to dismiss the fine-tuning argument. Now, you would have to... I'm thinking on the fly here, so forgive me, and hopefully the music will distract you from my lack of my stumbling train of thought. But yeah, if this universe was like a newly open package that we just opened and discovered, and, you know, like, I suppose, let's put it like this. The fine-tuning argument sounds a bit like, you know, you wake up on Christmas morning and you find there's a box under the Christmas tree. And you open that box and you go, "Wow, this present is just for me. It's just what I needed. It's just what I wanted. It's perfect." But no, we can't do that. The argument from fine-tuning doesn't quite work that way, because we have come onto the scene billions of years after the initial creation event. And I mean creation is in a poetic sense, not a literal sense. But yeah, we've come onto the scene, very late into the piece. Humans have only been around for, let's say 200,000 years. Out of the 4 point something billion years of Earth's existence and the 14 or so billion years of the universe's existence, we've come in the last 5 minutes and gone, this is made just for us. No, that's no. So even if let's say gravity was different, or the electromagnetic force was different, or any of the other forces were different, or the size of protons or whatever, like, sure, you could make an argument that life wouldn't exist. But it wouldn't so much be life wouldn't exist, it'd just be life as we know it wouldn't exist. And don't you find it funny that, we live on a planet that has plenty of water and sunlight, and humans need plenty of water and sunlight? What a marvellous coincidence. Except for when we don't, because those who live, in the desert, their bodies have adapted to, to not need much water. It's amazing. But, so I suppose the next point I have is, how would you determine that we couldn't exist under different physical parameters? Like, yes, if gravity was, well, let's say gravity didn't exist, we still have other fundamental forces to interact with. What's to say that there aren't other forces we haven't yet discovered that could, you could take the hard line that gravity hasn't been proven as well. I don't quite agree with that, but so I suppose what I'm trying to say is that we have come, like, the fact that we've come onto the scene so late, and people act like, hey, this is made just for us, and then they haven't quite demonstrated how life itself couldn't exist without haven't demonstrated how life couldn't exist if some of the other forces were either absent or different. And probably the other thing I'd also get into as well is that, so let's say God did fine-tune things. Were there any other universes that he made where he tried to form life without, with other constants and variables and stuff like that, and things didn't work out? I'd be interested in that. But I suppose the argument from fine-tuning to me is essentially, if things were different, they'd be different, therefore God. And the whole idea that, and I suppose one other reason why I don't like the fine-tuning argument is because, like, it makes out as if the universe was designed for us, and I disagree completely. There are more. Okay, so you could argue that there are more black holes in the universe than there are planets with sentient life on them. There are more stars in the universe than there are people in the universe. So if you go by the idea that a thing does most what it was designed for, then you then have to admit that the universe was made for black holes and stars. You can't go, this is made for us. And even if you look at planet Earth, so this what was his argument here? Must be exquisitely fine-tuned throughout the entire age of the universe in order for a planet like Earth to ever exist. But the thing is that there are plenty of planets just like Earth. Well, we suspect that there are, and there are ways we can detect and measure and inspect and things like that we can. There are ways we can have reasonable hypotheses about Earth-like planets, and the term Goldilocks zone comes to mind, where you have planets inhabitable zones, which look like they have an atmosphere and water. Because if there was only one planet, so I would get the fine-tuning argument if there was only one planet, and humans could exist at any point on this planet. But if you think about it, humans can only inhabit the surface of a minor rocky planet. Just the surface. We can't live under the surface, and we can only exist roughly in the lower 5 kilometers of the surface. Because once you get above, let's say, 5 kilometers or about 5,000 feet, the air starts to thin out, and it causes health problems. And if you look at the was it Felix Baumgartner, who actually did the Red Bull jump from space, where he had to wear, he didn't even go, he technically didn't go, well, actually no, he did go into space. He got above the Earth's atmosphere in a specialized balloon, in a specialized suit, in order to jump down to Earth. And so even if we get to the upper portions of Earth's atmosphere, the air runs out, and then as soon as we get outside this planet, there is radiation galore. Space is essentially a radiation-filled vacuum. So it's not so much that the Earth was made for humans. The Earth is protecting humans from the universe. So, that's one way to look at it. And also the idea that the universe is fine-tuned, therefore God. I would like it if there was some biblical text that says, that shows how God made all these, how God did all this fine-tuning. And if your argument is, but the ancient Hebrews couldn't understand even if God told them, then God is not able to communicate powerful messages. He can't communicate complex concepts to the people he loves and who he made, yet he couldn't get them to understand complex scientific concepts. Even if God told Moses to draw an atomic model, or even if he told him to draw the solar system and said, all right, Moses, keep this picture of the solar system handy because later generations will refer back to it. That to me would be a somewhat convincing case that there is a sentient God that helped write the Bible. But no, that isn't the case. Anyway, let's go on to point 4. So 3, 2, 1. Point number 4. Modern science used to insist that among the nearly trillion galaxies and 100 billion stars visible in the universe, there must surely exist billions and billions of other life-friendly planets. But now, most scientists recognize that our planet, our sun, and our galaxy, compared with other planetary systems, other stars, and other galaxies, clearly show signs of intricate design. Astronomers have calculated the probability of finding another planet capable of supporting life, that is, without invoking divine design, and it is utterly remote. Oh god. Alright, Heroes. Challenge accepted. Okay, so I'm doing a quick search for planets that could sustain life. Alright, so let me find a CNET, space.com. Okay. I'm just going to read space.com, and there's an article saying 10 exoplanets that could host alien life. So there's that there. Should that be? Let's DuckDuckGo. I don't always like DuckDuckGo's. DuckDuckGo's search results. I'm going to go Google instead. Okay, planets that can support life. Okay, so let's. So this space.com have habitable planets. Space.com there. Oh, okay, so Wikipedia have a list of potentially habitable exoplanets. Okay, so I'm reading the text here. This is a list of potentially habitable exoplanets. The list is mostly based on estimates of habitability by the Habitable Exoplanets Catalogue and data from the NASA Exoplanet Archive. The HEC is maintained by the Planetary Habitability Laboratory of the University of Puerto Rico at Arecibo. Surface planetary habitability is thought to require orbiting the right distance from the host star for liquid surface water to be present, in addition to various geophysical and geodynamic aspects of atmospheric density, radiation type and intensity, and the host star's plasma environment. And I am looking at this list, and I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30. Okay, so I reckon it's about 50 planets that they've listed as potentially habitable. So, okay, I get this was made, this thing was written back in 2000, and by Hugh Ross, who has a theological agenda. But, yeah, I think he may need to revisit, and I hope Hugh Ross has revisited his arguments, because so we've actually found, so the problem's like, because we're so far away, we can't exactly test, and there are interesting hypotheses as to why we haven't found other planets with life on them. It could be that they're there and they haven't communicated with us. It could be that we're in that we survived an extinction event. It could be that they saw us and went, "You guys are idiots." And yes. But yeah, so go to Wikipedia, and it's called List of Potentially Habitable Exoplanets. So yeah. And I love how he's got there most scientists. That's like saying most Christians believe Jesus is Lord, therefore Jesus is Lord. Yes. Which actually goes into... But isn't it interesting, though, that a God that designed this universe then made a universe that has billions of planets, billions of, Oh, hello, somebody's at my front door, so I'm going to mute, listen to some music, back in a sec. Alright, so... Sorry about that, that was near my... the door that had... Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn the... Silly me. So anyway, yes. Silly me, so yes. Where was I? Yeah, so the idea that this universe was designed by God specifically for human life. I don't accept that because... Okay, I would Hey, Della.
You just help me.
What's up? So I would accept a divine design of the universe if there was only one planet and only one star. And then I'll go, okay, yeah, look, you know, it was clearly designed for, Budjo. seen a few of those. Yeah, whereas this universe has, as this document clearly states, hundreds of billions of galaxies and stars and all that kind of stuff. So to go, to try and make the argument that there are hundreds of billions of planets and one just happens to have the right conditions for life, therefore God, I think that's a very weak argument. It's a very, very bad argument, and you can make that argument for, you know, Zeus, for Thor, for Wotan, for universe creating pixies, because I could go, look, you know, the universe creating pixies created this universe just for human life, and you know, and you couldn't disprove that. So you have to, get your arguments just right. And the problem though is, and the other problem is that as soon as we get off of this planet, we will die. We'll be suffocated in a nanosecond before we're poisoned because of the radiation and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so again, the argument from fine tuning is essentially, if things were different, they'd be different, therefore God. And yeah, I was a bit way too loud there. And yeah, so like I get that there are intricate constants and forces at play and at work. I'm not dismissing that, and I get it's complex beyond my understanding, but to say it was therefore designed, because one of the things with design is you have prototypes and you have plans and you have test models and you have pilot stages and you have all that, but we don't have that with the universe. So you can't say it's designed. Because design also implies that there are other variables involved, or other, you know, models involved, or there are other tests involved, and you know it was possible to be something else, and I don't know if it was possible for the things in a universe to work out the way they did. So yeah, So this is an apologetics puff piece. As apologetics is and apologetics does. And look, if you were a Christian, you would swallow this hook, line and sinker, and you would tell it to your church and to university outreach groups and all that. But when you critically analyse it, it's not quite as strong as what you'd believe. But anyway, I'm going to end the reading here. So this is that was points 3 and 4 of Reasons to Believe, Paradigm Shifts of the 20th Century. I'll put that away till next time. My name is Damien, the Tall Friendly Atheist Dad, host of the Tall Friendly Atheist Dad podcast. Check it out on Anchor, anchor.fm/TFA Dad. Check me out on Twitter and Facebook, or the website www.tallfriendlyatheistdad.com. But until next time, look after yourselves and stay safe. See ya.
I am sure